I would like to welcome back the legendary, the one and only, Chris Fowler, back to the Quiet Time Podcast. What's goody?
Can't ban me. I'm back. They tried to ban me off the podcast. You can't ban me.
What's going on? So today we are going to be talking about the NBA bubble and what that is going to be like and what you're looking forward to and what that's going to be like moving forward. We have a lot of experience on that wide world of campus, worldwide sports, Disney worldwide of sports. We've been on that campus plenty of times growing up, and it is a very unique campus. I think it's going to be a very different feel for the NBA just because I feel like a lot of those guys, if not, 60 to 70, maybe 80% of those guys have played in the Milk House before and played on the wide world of sports campus.
You would think so, growing up.
Yeah, so that's where they
like if they've been fortunate enough to travel playing basketball, like one of their stops has had to be Disney. I mean, Speech Fieldhouse would be the other. Disney would be one.
Vegas would be another one. Peach Jam.
Yeah.
But it's going to have that AAU feel to it. So let's talk a little bit about that. Like, what are you excited about, and what are you excited to see with the bubble coming forward?
It's more of that feel of basketball, that open gym feel. There's going to be the gym and the atmosphere itself is going to lack emotion, in which hopefully once everything dies down in the bubble, in terms of you get over the rust and people start to lock into the rhythm of basketball, the emotion's not going to drive the game. So if the emotion's not driving the game, legitimately what you would hope to see is the best basketball players come out and the best coaching of those basketball players come out. And I think there's going to be a lot of twists and turns that come along with it. But I feel that we're going to see some of the best basketball we may have seen in a long time because of this bubble. If people can get back in rhythm, because that's the only thing that they're going to be able to have to focus on. Like, there is going to be no outside distractions. There is going to be no family. It's going to be, you leave to play basketball, you come back. And I think, if you get to do that, you should see the better basketball players rise to the top.
And that's something that you said, that you said to me a couple times, and I've heard you say it on videos when you're the team is getting ready to play when you were coaching at Michigan State, is that, once the emotion dies down, it's just basketball. And that's what we're about to find out. Is just, there is going to be no crowd to get you pumped up and get you going. So it's going to be something that you have to do mentally every single day to get in that zone. And I feel like, seeing a James Harden, LeBron James, and I think they're going to do very well because they just love to play basketball. So it's going to be interesting to see what the role players will do.
You hope that's the hope, is that you would, because like, especially in the past, you see 6-0 runs can feel like 20-point runs because, you get a three and another three, you get a three, a stop, another three in transition. Crowd goes wild. That 6 points automatically goes to 15 because, you can't hear anything in the gym, right? Or you get 8-0, 10-0 run, 10-2 run, whatever. A three, a stop, a three, a stop, get a layup. Somebody comes down, gets a dunk. The game ends 10 points because the emotion of the crowd is you become unable to, overcome what drives the home team, and which is why home court advantage is such a big deal. What you're going to get now is 6 points literally is just 6 points. Like, the emotion of those 6 points isn't going to drive or move the needle one way or another. So you're going to have to see people either withstand their level of play longer, or they're not going to be able to match the better players' level of play for a long time. It's almost like playing in an open gym. When you're playing in an open gym, emotion doesn't drive the open gym. People who dominate open gyms literally make shots.
Yeah.
You can't guard them. Emotion doesn't drive that. So, and I think you're going to see that come out of a lot of people, but you're also going to see what comes out of the best coaches. Like, who are the best coaches in the league at the highest level? Like, we get to see that because they're not shutting it down because of 1 or 2 positive coronavirus tests. So one of your players test positive, one of your top role players, You got to figure out how to plug another role player in and then maybe shift the system to help it fit that player. Can you do that in under 24 hours? Like, I feel like you're going to see the best come out of a plethora of different people because of this bubble. I mean, I'm not advocating that the NBA continues to do this, but if they can find their rhythm and find their rhythm quickly, it's going to be some good basketball.
So, with that being said, who are you going with to win it all?
The Clippers. If we're talking about unemotional players, we started with Kawhi Leonard. Somebody who can withstand other people not being emotional is probably him. But they also have in the league the best players at generating their own emotion, like Lou Will and Patrick Beverley and Montrezl Harrell. Like those guys feed off their own emotion and feed.
Yeah, they don't feed off the crowd. Patrick Beverley feeds off of whoever he's guarding. So he can, psychologically get into his own mind to make him, go even harder. And then, like you said, Kawhi Leonard. So
I mean, like if I had to choose, everything staying healthy, no tests, breaking anybody out, I'm choosing the Clippers. The teams I don't want to see, or I feel like if I'm a team I don't want to see, they better hope Portland doesn't make it. His name in that setting will also be very good. James Harden, he's going to have to be the most focused he's ever been, right? Because there's going to be no extracurriculars activities for him to get into. So you would assume that he's going to be more focused than he's ever been. Wouldn't want to see him, Kemba in the East. Probably wouldn't want to see Boston in the Eastern Conference. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of you're going to see some premier basketball come out of the best players in the league. It's really going to show us behind the scenes, like when you look at it and you hear these stories about these NBA players dominating practices in open gyms and things like that. Like, when pros talk about pros and they say, like, I knew he was the best in the world back in this closed scrimmage. Right. We're going to see a bunch of closed scrimmages and we're going to show you who's the best in the world. They lucky KD's not playing.
I was getting ready to say that if Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving were playing in this bubble, I'm taking them easy.
Yeah, they would win. I think they would win.
KD would thrive in something like this.
Yeah, it's just, what you talking about? That's all we got to do? I don't really have to talk to the media. I don't really have to entertain nobody off the court. It's not a whole lot of cameras. We just get the ball. Oh, come on. Because a lot of people can't deal with, especially as playoff round goes on, the attention raises. The attention that people get, it gets higher and higher. So, like if you telling me that the attention ultimately stays the same and the interest of hoop is the one that's different, then every day, that's the one I want. That's how I want to play it.
We're going to find out who really wants to play basketball.
Yeah, who really likes hoop? Who likes the lifestyle and the reality TV show of the NBA? Who likes hooping? That's what we got to figure out.
Yeah, I think Russ and James Harden, they say James Harden has lost some weight. If they catch fire.
If James Harden catch fire, he scores. Like, we might see some playoff games where one of them gets 60.
Right.
Because, like, you got to think, like, the entertainment aspect of it is these dudes get hot. They start scoring a whole lot. The crowd starts yelling. They get to throwing up their little fingers and screaming and stuff like that after plays. They suck their own energy out of them. They don't stay locked in the game with 35, 36, 37. Now there's nobody to scream at. There's nobody in the crowd to talk to, right? So you could be on a run. Your star player could have 31 at half. He doesn't hear anything all halftime. He could stay completely locked in and score 31 more. Because, like, literally there is nobody there to drive that energy. So when you pick up steam, you could keep that momentum rolling the whole time for a whole 48 minutes just for the simple fact that everything you have is generated and focused on the game.
You hear Anthony Davis say they have a better chance of winning it now. Why do you think he feels like that, and why wouldn't you go with LeBron and the Lakers?
You have to think they got an older team, so you have to think that more rest would give them it would help them get healthier, just like it helped everybody else. But somebody as athletically gifted as LeBron and Anthony Davis, more rest would help them become more athletic because you would assume they're keeping their bodies healthy even throughout quarantine. I wouldn't go with them because I feel like LeBron likes that lifestyle. I think he loves the crowd. He's an entertainer. It drives him in a way, both the road game and home game crowds. I feel like he can respond to those pretty well, but I don't feel like he has the best open gym skill set.
Yeah.
The 5-on-5 role players being actively involved in home games and being able to make more shots and drive off that emotion on the road games, he can kind of take over and dominate the game with the ball in his hand. I feel like that can be driven by the emotion that other players on the floor feel, in which he needs. I don't feel like he has the skill set personally to dominate an open gym in terms of one-on-one moves. Can you create your own shot? And can you lock in for the entire time? Now, I could be wrong, in which there could be some open gyms out there that he has completely dominated, and this might be one in which if he can find a way to win in this bubble and win the championship, and he pulls rabbits out the hat and gets deep into his bag of tricks, it might be a different discussion we might have to have on the next podcast. No, I just don't believe it's going to happen.
I hear you. It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see because we know Bron can dominate, but it's a different, like you said, it's a different type of domination. It's not like he can't get 30 in this setting, which he probably can and probably will do. But like you said, the impact of the game with the role players.
Yeah.
Because when they're playing at home and he's kicking it out and they're shooting threes, they're going crazy.
Yeah.
He feeds off of that. Like, you could tell when he scores buckets, he looks into the crowd. He looks at people in their eyes. So
he feeds off. The role players generally play better at home, and that's because they make a few shots and the crowd gets behind them, and they can run out in front of the emotional things where superstars are usually built to win on the road. Every game's a road game. Yeah. And we're gonna see the people who are like the better players in the league because of it. Even the role players, like there are going to be some role players that come out where we're going to be like, I didn't know he was that good.
Right.
Because like there's some players out there who work on their game who legitimately would thrive in these situations where take the politics out of it, take the emotion out of it, take the media out of it. Are we just hooping and you're not better than me at that? You better than me at everything else.
Right. Like running the offense and setting picks and things like that. Yeah.
And I think there's gonna be some role players who are making a lot of money who we're gonna be like, ooh, they probably don't need all that. Role players that's not making that much money who are gonna come in at opportune times where you're gonna be like, I didn't know he had that type of game. I didn't know he could ball like that.
It's gonna be interesting to see. Now I know this is, not kind of far-fetched and I don't always like to do this, but if Mike or Kobe was playing in a situation like this,
I think you probably see both of them at times get 50, multiple 50s, multiple 60-point games. I think you're going to see that out of some people. Like you might see some of the highest scoring individual games that we might see.
Just because they'll be able to lock in. Yeah.
Imagine the amount of shots that are taken by certain players just because they feel the momentum of the game shifting. Like you on an 8-0 run and you throw it up and the player who shouldn't probably be shooting that shot shoots a shot that they probably shouldn't have shot. Or there is a star player passes up a shot or tries to run the offense or something that drives the emotion of a game where now it's like, if he killing, they're going to find him every time down the court because everybody's thinking clearly. It has nothing to do with anything other than everybody's thinking, or everybody should be thinking logically and thinking, okay, well, he hot. We just going to keep running that play, keep doing that. I think you're going to see some of the highest scoring games, and I think Jordan and Kobe will both do that. I think they will both get 40s, 50s, and 60-point games. I think we're going to see that because of the atmosphere that's going to be set up.
So you're going with the Clippers?
Yes.
Final.
Clippers, Celtics.
Oh, Clippers are sweeping them.
Wouldn't say sweep. I got a lot of confidence in the person that stands on the Celtics sideline.
Brad Stevens.
Yes. You're going to see people who can coach now, too.
All right.
It's going to change the way you look at who are the better coaches in the league, because now, can you draw something up? I don't know. Like, we're going to see. Can you draw something up to get your best player in a position to succeed? Because everybody's going to be able to see that now. Like, we're not going to be caught up in the emotional atmosphere that the game usually brings. We're going to be watching the game from a perspective in our own homes. We can rewind it every time. With the way DVRs are set up now, you can rewind live TV and I can see what happened right after it happened. I can record the game and watch it right immediately after. I don't have to wait to get home. There's not people in the crowd. Like, even when you're at home, if somebody goes on a run in a home game and you're cheering for that team, you find a way to get emotional about that.
Yeah.
You find a way, like being sitting on your couch, like, you find a way to get emotional about that. But there's nobody in the stadium. You got to watch the game. You can't watch the surrounding atmosphere of the game. You have to watch the actual basketball game. And it's going to show us the difference between a coach who has an understanding of their team and a coach who just has a lot of good players on their team.
Right. Well, we'll see. We will see. Everybody, I would like to thank Chris Fowler for being on the Quiet Time podcast.
Yet Banby.
He will be back on in the future. A lot more. You guys will be hearing a lot more of him. So appreciate you. We will see the bubble coming soon. We will see hopefully we see some amazing hoop.
Hopefully we need it.